concur with you then. And let's go ahead, head on into the game.
So TF is actually not getting banned here by Sorry, which would lead me to believe that out of all these decks, it's probably the Lee Sin that got left up. So I guess a Shen Fiora ban.
All I can tell you is we're already seeing Braum Vladimir from the get here, and I am an excited boy because of it, so should be fun.
Actually, probably a Lee Sin ban, because Overwhelm's supposed to beat Shen Fiora, right?
Generally speaking, I mean, yeah, their units are just a little bit bigger, a little bit harder for Barrier to deal with. But we got the Bloodletter down here, and we'll.
Can I talk about how much I love Sorry's picture?
Oh, with the Pepe,
the little Pepe with the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't think Chad can see it because it's secondhand.
It's been like that for a while too. He's had that picture on there for a while. So, all right, we got the Bloodletter coming in here. Obviously, WhatAmI not really going to want to take that trade onto the Fizz there. That 1 damage matters too, because again, this is a deck on the side of Sorry that can push through a lot of damage very, very quickly. So even that 1 damage, especially in a deck like Twiz where there is no healing, that could come in to bite Sorry a little bit later. But as we can see here, WhatAmI also doing some work, putting on the pressure to Sorry, you know, dealing damage very quickly as well.
I mean, this is like probably one of the best starts that Sorry could have asked for, right? Though, like, you've got the Bloodletter into the Scargrounds on 3, into the Braum on 4. There is a little bit of a bug with Bloodletter and Braum that we're going to get to see here, which does power up the deck to an extent. If I remember correctly, Bloodletter effectively is not supposed to hit both units. But it does, and that just kind of is what it is. And it's like one of those bugs that we kind of have to allow, like the River Shaper Concerted Strike thing.
It's just too, you can't, there's no way around it. And honestly, I would argue you just keep the bug the way it is because it just makes the deck a little bit more competitive. I don't hate it. Obviously, this deck is not taking over the meta by storm by any means, even with the bug. So, but it is being played more than it has in the past, which is good to see. So there's the bug in action there. But with the Scargrounds, man, you know, we know how crazy a 1-attack Braum was when it was just base 1 attack. Well, we have that again, and Braum is going to start doing some work here, pulling off blockers, going to threaten more damage to the Nexus of WhatAmI, and this is a really good start for Sorry.
Yeah, this is how you beat TF Fizz, right? Is you out-aggro them. Even things like... So, Lysandra Trundle. People talk about that being a counter to TF Fizz, right? You've heard that sentiment expressed?
Say that again?
That Lysandra Trundle is a counter to TF Fizz.
Oh,
you've heard that
yes, and I've heard you argue it multiple times too.
Do you know what the actual win rate of, and I'm not talking, like, when we throw out, like, matchups, we throw out theoretical percentages. Do you know what the actual hard, factual, evidence-gathered win rate is of Lysandra Trundle versus TF Fizz?
Nope, but I'm going to guess you're going to tell me.
55%. That's not a counter.
In the favor of Lysandra.
That's a slight favor.
In the favor of Lysandra, though, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But, like, anything that is 55-45, that's not a counter matchup.
60.
That's very close to even.
You want to get probably like 58 or more. 60 would be really what you're looking for that. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, 55-45 is just Shen Fiora versus any deck.
Yeah.
And, like, it's man. The way to beat this deck, if you're going to try to counter it, 100% to out-aggro.
Yeah, and we've seen that a lot lately. I mean, those are the decks that are usually taking home some pretty quick wins versus Twiz. Because the problem is, Twiz not only aggroes you down, but Twiz also has the crazy late game card advantage, and that's the issue. So you need stronger aggro than Twiz's early game aggro to actually beat it. That way they can't get to a Twisted Fate, which we see here with the blue card, and then they're not able to actually level him up. It doesn't look like we'll be able to level him up with Braum now having three attack. Going to be able to pull that TF. It's not looking good for WhatAmI. Definitely looking like Sorry's going to take this one.
I don't think WhatAmI is going to be able to commit the... You know, like, spend that 4 mana to commit the suit up to the Twisted Fate to protect it from the Braum with so many fleeting cards in hand, but also just because Sorry does have other tools to, like, finish it off at 1 HP. And we're actually just going to ignore the Twisted Fate. We're going to pull the Fizz to the side and say, hey, this is lethal damage. You need to block with this Twisted Fate.
Yeah. And I don't think there's really a choice for WhatAmI. And even if we survive here, I mean, what's the game plan, right? Like, We have 2 iterative improvements. Right now, we'd really just be playing that on like a Daring Poro, maybe, if that's the case. Looks like we're going to dig for something. What? I don't know. Another stress test. All right, there's a Burblefish. So we might be able to still assemble, one of those big elusive turns. Because you got to remember, WhatAmI also at 11. So if, or sorry. So wow, there's a lot of sorries and WhatAmI's there. I just got completely tongue-tied. Sorry about that. So if Sorry cannot close out the game this turn, there is the potential that WhatAmI can close it out with a very big elusive turn. So those troll chants might actually come in big, allowing Sorry to live to the next attack token as well.
WhatAmI is going to have to throw out this Twisted Fate as a blocker, though. Red carding is like actively detrimental to you because of the Scar Grounds.
Oh yeah.
It would actually make Sorry deal more damage to you. And if you can get to the gold card, great. But you're actually only saving yourself about 3 HP, and once Sorry gets down the Crimson Disciple on the following turn, every time WhatAmI plays a second card for the turn, if the TF sticks around, that is an active detriment to WhatAmI.
Yeah, this is looking like, was that 5, 6, 7, 8? So we are alive for the time being. I don't know. It's looking like. Does WhatAmI? I'm trying to put this math together in my head. Right, we have a Burblefish. It's at 2. We'll iterative improvement. It'll bring the next one down to 1. That's going to be 3, 4. That's 7. If we have 3 Burblefish next turn, I think we win.
Through double troll chant?
Oh, through double troll chant? No. And I think we also have to get this Burblefish down to 1. If that's going to happen, because one of these iteratives is fleeting. Or no, actually, we could play it this turn if we really wanted to. So let's see how WhatAmI decides to play this out here. Yeah, so there's the 1. And it looks like we're going to get it down to, 0. Discard the other 2. And yeah, so I think this is what WhatAmI is going to go for. We're just going to try to get as many Burblefish down.
So I do want to point out that if WhatAmI... Never mind. I was going to say, if WhatAmI did all of this in combat, then we actually would have been able to let the Fizz live because it would have leveled, but we had already talked about the red card being a detriment to WhatAmI because of the attack buff. But if you had gotten the gold card, it would have stunned out the Mighty Poro, and it wouldn't have been as bad. You still, and you would have had to have gotten the gold card in order to level the Fizz. So like maybe that was the line.
Yeah, there's a Mind Meld in hand too, Boulevard.
Yeah, things are looking kind of rough.
That is all right. So wait,
for our friends,
we're gonna be on exactly 7. And Sorry, typically, I don't know if there's any Culling Strike.
WhatAmI? There is Ice Shard.
Okay, there is Ice Shard. But we don't see it in the hand of Sorry, and I do think... Is WhatAmI just going to go for it here? I think we are. We're just... Oh, wait.
I can't imagine
yeah, okay. I was like, wait, are we going to play the Daring Poros?
Oh, yeah, we top deck Braum. Sorry, doesn't have it.
This feels so bad.
Sorry actually opened triple Ice Shard and mulliganed all 3 of them.
Yeah, and... Not only that, the opener for Sorry was amazing, Boulevard. Like, that was the dream for this deck. You had the Bloodletter, you had the Scar Grounds, you had the 2-drop, you had the Braum following the Scar Grounds.
Used it.
But like, well, first off, this is my argument for why Bloodletter should just stay the way that it is. Because clearly it's still not that great.
What if we just renerf Mind Meld to 8 mana?
Oh my, maybe that'll do it. I don't know.
That's a hell... It won't. It won't, but...
Hey, you don't know unless you try, right? We can do it. We can do it. Oh, man, so WhatAmI? Man, that game is a perfect example as to why Twiz is such a problem. Like, that's the type of games that we see where the Scargrounds deck had it. Like, 100% Sorry had that game. But WhatAmI was just able to assemble kind of the pieces of Exodia as we joke about, where as long as you get Burblefish with Mind Meld, generally speaking, especially a deck like Braum Vladimir is not going to be able to deal with that. So now this is what we were talking about earlier. Who's favored, right? Braum Vladimir or the Barrier deck? I think it's a toss-up to a lot of people, I think. I mean, my mind gravitates to the Braum Vladimir deck if it has a similar start to, what we just saw in the last game versus the Twiz deck. But we don't know yet, so we'll see if that's going to be the case.
I mean, that's the problem with Braum Vlad, right? Is I feel like a lot of your matchup... Both of these decks are decks that just sometimes don't function, but I feel like the Braum Vlad deck is going to not function a lot more often then Shenfiora is going to not function. And I mean, Sari's opening hand is not bad, but it's not special. It's not great, and I don't think it pairs super well into the hand that WhatAmI is opened with.
Yeah, I mean, we have Scargrounds, we have a Bloodletter, not quite the Braum or anything like that. And that's the thing, like, if you, with this Vlad Braum deck, if you're not getting one of the larger units by turn 5, when turn 5 comes around, which is, you know, only one turn away from that, it's an issue. Because then all of your smaller units don't really get much done. We have some additional unit generation with the Crimson in hand, but yeah, it's not feeling like it's going to be the greatest game here for Sari either. So this might be a little bit of a challenge. It's looking like, especially with the Challenger units here, I think WhatAmI is going to be able to pick off some of these smaller units.
At the very least, we're going to be able to maintain our card advantage through the Edwins, still push a lot of damage onto WhatAmI's units, and we do completely invalidate all of these barrier spells through both the Ice Shard and the Death Lotus. So if WhatAmI can't draw more units here, I don't think he actually has the capabilities to protect the units that he currently has. I think he is going to lose all of them. And then, you know, we kind of have to play from there. A second Screeching Dragon might be all it takes, but I think that WhatAmI is not winning the game anytime soon. And that's going to give Sari a lot of wiggle room that WhatAmI can't afford to concede.
Yeah, wow. Lots of riposte there as well. And that's, so the biggest thing with this barrier deck, right, when you have something like riposte with +3 attack, you know, Troll Chant is going to be a really big card for Sari. If we do have to utilize the riposte to kind of catch up if a Troll Chant's used, I mean, I think that's going to be good for Sari. Generally speaking, you can out Troll Chant you can out riposte a riposte with the Troll Chant, if that makes sense, because the Troll Chant is a 4-point swing in stats, whereas riposte is only going to be 3. So unfortunately, that barrier, though, it's going to mean the unit's sticking around, and I do think we're going to see that interaction here, and it's just not going to go well for Sari, I think. I think we're going to start seeing some of these units just get lost here from Sari's board, and things are going to start to swing in the favor of WhatAmI. Already pushing through 6 damage, too. I mean, if we don't block with this other Edwin, as you call it, Boulevard.
That's his name.
I know. Just want to remind everybody, we're not doing the what we did before again. This is just actually the card's name.
Yeah.
And this will definitely help. So this is one of the cruxes of the deck. Now that Ice Shard is a thing, it's a card, it's out. It does a lot of work in these larger combats like this because it does proc the Scargrounds effect multiple times on multiple units. And it feels really good. Feels like it gets a lot done, but unfortunately, so many combat tricks from this barrier deck, it's not really going to matter too much. You know, WhatAmI taking the time here, lining everything up properly? I like the single combat on one of the Edwins as well, so you kind of prevent this extra unit generation that could come out. And Sari's going to be in a tough spot.
I don't know. I mean, Sari's throwing out the Death Lotus here, and this means that we're going to get 2 units. Like, we're going to get 3 random Crimsons into our hand. We're going to wipe the entire board outside of, I think, the Screeching Dragon. I don't think Sari's left with any units when it's all said and done, but this is what I was talking about, where WhatAmI just doesn't actually have effective tools for protecting his units.
Oh, well, we actually live with 1 Edwin, so yeah, maybe things did work out there for Sari in the end, and it's one of the things about combat with this deck. There's so many cards usually put on the stack, so many abilities. We actually have Tribe in hand, too, which, I mean, man, I never understood why this never got played more as a 5-drop. Tarkas the Tribeless, like, yeah, it's such a good, like, I understand, but it's a 8 health unit for 5 costs. It has the best stats, raw stats, as a 5-cost unit. I really want this card to see more play, and this is kind of the obvious deck that it fits into.
Here's a fun little trivia for you. This card has seen competitive play in 1 deck. Do you remember what it was?
This was a long time ago, wasn't it? This was like beta? Was it beta?
No, way after beta.
It wasn't a Nivea, was it?
No.
I don't know. What deck are you talking about?
Trundle Aesol.
Oh my god!
On release, Trundle Aesol played Tarkas the Tribeless.
That was like the very first version of the deck, though, and then they cut it.
Like the first iteration of
the
deck.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's why I was thinking of Nivea was because I thought it was some sort of like ramp deck, and so that's so it was ramp Trundle Aesol. So that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, that lasted what, a week? that card was not played.
A solid week.
A whole week.
10 whole days. Tarkaz had his time in the sun.
Oh my god. Well, looks like Sari is gonna go ahead and push some more damage through here, and yeah, with this kind of card advantage, this is why. So this is another thing. I was talking about how the bodies are usually bigger versus the barrier matchup, but if you are able to get Edwin's effect off multiple times, WhatAmi's barrier deck is gonna have a problem just keeping up in raw units, just straight up units. We're just gonna have so many more units hitting the field, hitting the board on the side of Sari, that eventually WhatAmi is just gonna have to trade his units away to start, blocking attacks and stuff like that. This also gonna go ahead take care of Fiora here, but it looks like we are gonna concerted strike in response. It still actually kills it. So it's 4 damage, right? Yeah, 1 damage 4 times. That's so insane on a tough unit.
Yeah. And it buffs the attack every time as well, thanks to the start.
And then on Edwin, like you have an Edwin down with that. You're getting 4 units to hand, 4 attack. Like, it's crazy.
Sari is currently realizing that Gouge, or rather, WhatAmI is currently reading that Gouge says and, not to.
Yeah.
Which means that even if you do kill this unit, your Fiora is still going to take 4 damage.
Yeah. Doesn't need to actually proc.
It's 4 individual procs of damage, meaning that the riposte is not an answer.
Yeah, the way that effect is worded actually gets around a lot of specific card interactions. Another card that I really wish saw more play too, like maybe it's unfortunate that cards like Tarkaz, like these cards, they're only played in this very specific deck. Like I feel like the Vlad archetype,
because they all suck.
But like they all have these effects that literally only work in this deck. There's only one deck they work in, and it's this Crimson archetype, and it's so pigeonholed into using only these very specific cards, and all those specific cards are generally just not good in other archetypes. Just feels bad.
Well, good news is we're gonna get a game 3.
Yes, we are. So this is gonna tie it up, and
and
surrender been hit.
There's 2 options here. We either get boo, a Shen Fiora mirror, boo, or we get overwhelm v Shen Fiora.
I so hope. I'm
so certain it's a Shen Fiora.
Don't you dare say that. There's no way. Like, you banned barrier. Or I will say, sorry, didn't ban barrier, right? So I guess. Come on, please have ban barrier. Please have ban barrier. Please have ban barrier. He banned barrier. He banned barrier, baby. Let's go. All right, I'm hype. I don't know about you, Boulevard, but I am sick and tired of barrier mirror matches, all right?
They're not my favorite.
All right, so let's see how this bad boy goes. Now, who you got in this matchup? Who do you think's got the advantage, Boulevard?
If I remember correctly, the way that it's been described to me is this matchup is very one-sided, and I believe it's in the favor of the... Oh, man. Like, I think I've heard that it's in the favor of the overwhelm player, but, like, looking at how things play out, like, in theory, I feel like Shen Fiora should have this one. There's enough food for the Fiora that you can get through with, like, your barriers, and the stats of the units that Sari's going to be pushing out aren't so much larger that you're taking that much damage. But at the same time, like, you are just kind of constantly trading 1-for-1. Like, I could definitely see Overwhelm actually being, the deck that is advantaged here, but it really depends on the openers, and Sari's hand is looking not phenomenal.
That's one way to put it, I guess. On the bright side, we do have a 3-drop, so we can pop that down.
3-drop. More problems
We're
are
not
solved.
Burning mana. It's like that's.
Wow, not burning mana. This is the ideal situation for my aggro deck.
Oh, this feels so bad. Yep, there's the trapper. Man, this is unfortunate. I gotta say, very much favors WhatAmI right now. We have the Betty White combo in hand. I can't unsee Betty White on Fiora now.
I don't know why you ever.
I don't know.
Betty White. I unsaw it before I ever saw it.
I don't know why. I just like calling Fiora Betty White. And Shen as well, right? I mean, we have plenty of units in hand. We even have the Laurent Protégé in hand, and I mean, honestly, this is looking good for WhatAmI. The deny not really going to get a lot of work done in this matchup specifically, so I do think that is a kind of little bit of a dead draw. Also, Spirit's Refuge early hand, right? I mean, this lifesteal, if things do get a little bit sticky for WhatAmI, this lifesteal might make a big difference, especially if we're able to draw some sort of combat trick to pair it with a little bit later on in the game.
this is what I'm worried about. Looking at Sari's hand, they very well might just lose to this Fiora win con.
Yeah, huh? I mean, that's going to be hard, though. I mean, a lot. So beyond these 2 units, everything else is pretty damn big in Sari's hand.
Yeah, but you could Refuge here. You could Shen to take out the Trapper. You can Riposte to uptrade onto a unit. And then you have Golden Aegis and a 4-attack Fiora.
Oh, wow.
And Sari doesn't really have a way to pop that. We might even have to like throw out a defensive Battle Fury at some point. But WhatAmI doesn't have Concerted Strike. And I feel like if there's one really big swing card that WhatAmI needs to like really solidify the victory, it is Concerted Strike.
Yeah, and actually deciding to go ahead and just blow that Spirit's Refuge here in the beginning. So I think WhatAmI does have the read on Sari that, all right, your hand, not so great. Probably is expecting something to come down on turn 5 just because, you know, of the way that the hand has gone so far. It looks like we are going to have back-to-back Yetis here in a second. This Yeti would allow for a pretty solid block onto the Shen if we want. We could also deal with the River Shaper, which feels all right, but obviously get a Procket's Effect, get that additional spell. You know, a defensive Battle Fury, like you mentioned, Boulevard, that's going to feel really bad. I feel like this deck doesn't win games by playing defensive Battle Furies. If you ever are thinking that that has to be the play, you just lose.
I mean, so if you defensive Battle Fury, in theory, because you played that to save your unit, that unit will still be there on the following turn to attack.
Yeah, but you lose so much of the surprise factor. I feel like a lot of the times when this deck is winning games, you're on the offensive. You have, I mean, technically it's not a surprise because you have 8 mana up. It's like, oh, wow, I wonder what they're going to play. But
the aggro deck didn't develop. What could this possibly be?
But like, it just, when you're playing it on the offense, it just feels like you can pick up so many victories. And like, that's why this card is a 3 of in this deck. It just wins games outright. So we'll see if maybe you're right. Maybe we get a defensive Battle Fury, maybe not. We do have enough mana right now to go ahead and play the Alpha Wildclaw. Also have Exhaust in hand.
Because I'm looking at
this,
right? And if WhatAmI wants to ball hard, we can Golden Aegis this Fiora and then Sharpsight it to kill the 5/2 Yeti, get it to 3 out of 4, and then like Riposte swing at something next turn for lethal. But we're just going to not necessarily let it die, but we're gonna use the Riposte, or at the very least, the Sharpsight here and now.
Well, if we did want the Golden Aegis route, like, it's still gonna be able to get pulled by something like Sejuani. So yeah, and then so we're gonna get the Riposte instead. Which, I mean, it's not going to actually get the kill on Sejuani. Like I mentioned, it's got 6 health. It's going to be able to live through that. Even with the Sharpsight, like you had mentioned, it's still going to live. So, I mean, this is going to push a fair bit of damage for Sari. So I think Sari is looking to potentially close out the game on the next turn. Also saving, you know, those Ruin Runners in there, which honestly don't really get a whole lot done in this matchup unless your opponent specifically relying on Concerted Strike and single combat. So we haven't seen those come down yet. Those could be something that finishes out the game here on the next attack turn.
Yeah, and we saw Sari hover that Battle Fury, understanding that, like, this is the win con. I need this Battle Fury to come in big. And I was thinking, you know, maybe we see Alpha Wildclaw some down here, but the Ruthless Raider alongside the Ruin Runner, that's a lot of alliteration, does just look a teensy bit better.
Yeah, and just to update everybody, it does look like Tanya Wannabe has beaten Volcarona Tango, the undefeated Swiss player there, the 8 seed, taking down the number 1 seed. Fitzy and Pavolici are still waiting to finish out their 3rd game to take on Tanya Wannabe in the semifinals. Just a quick update on how the brackets have gone so far. All right, here we go. This is Sharpsight. It looks like WhatAmI is all in on this Fiora win con. So I'm going to go ahead and try to pull the Yeti. See if... go ahead and take this one down. Problem is, I mean... Actually, all right, no, we're within 4.
This is the defensive Battle Fury I was talking about. Although, at the very... I think what WhatAmI is saying here is if you want to Battle Fury this...
It's going to die.
You do lose the unit. And if I have a barrier spell, you're just done for. I don't think that Sari's in a position where you can play around that. Because you have to understand that if WhatAmI has a Golden Aegis, you lose this turn unless you Battle Fury the Yeti.
Yeah.
And Sari is agonizing over it.
Yeah, it feels bad. It feels bad to have to play this on the defensive. You know, and perfectly out of the range of something like Troll Chant too, where Fiora's still going to be able to take home the victory in this challenge here. Got that 4 difference there.
It feels so incorrect, but if Sari does it, I feel like he just wins the game.
You think Sari wins the game off the defensive Battle Fury?
Absolutely. This Fiora is WhatAmI's only win condition at the moment.
Yeah, and all the units in hand, as impactful as they are later in the game, they're very big, and they're going to take a little while to actually develop all of them onto the board. And most of the units of Sari will be able to take care of them. So, oh, this feels so bad. This feels so bad, and we're doing it. All right, we're doing it. We're doing it.
And, like, WhatAmI's not out of this because of the double Cythria, and he can get one down this turn and then another one down next turn, are very effective blockers for the 2 5/5s that Sari actually has on board. Rune Runner's a 6/4, right?
Yes, yep.
So, like, we can develop a Ruin Runner next turn, but if we do that, then WhatAmI gets down double Cythria, and all of a sudden we can't actually attack with our 5/5s. So WhatAmI does have a little bit more time to try and find something.
All right, well...
Unless we top deck Battle Fury.
No, it's not quite a Battle Fury.
Actually... Sejuani's Fury of the North is pretty good. That does let you attack with your 5/5s, and that might be enough to secure your win.
Yeah, and again, everybody just, nobody really plans around those champion spells. I can't imagine it's at the top of WhatAmI's mind right now, playing around a 4-mana Fury of the North, but it is definitely impactful.
At this point, it has to be, right? I feel like we can't forever cut slack on players for not playing around champion spells.
I guess. I don't know. I just feel like it's one of the most common, easily made mistakes in the game. So, and
everybody needs to stop.
Yeah, they do, definitely. And if there's in WhatAmI's defense,
I think Whirling Death is one of the biggest.
Yes, oh yeah, 100%. In WhatAmI's defense, I mean, WhatAmI's a great player. So, do I think that he is not taking it into consideration? Probably not. Like, he probably is.
He has to take these blocks, though.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I think you have to take the blocks anyways.
He literally loses if he doesn't. So, it's one of those things where, like, he could know it's coming. It doesn't matter. You can't play around it.
Yep. And this would mean that Sejuani... Nope, it looks like we are actually going to save the Yeti. This is a little bit healthier. And, yeah, that's going to put WhatAmI at 3. So, this is coming down to the wire, man. I mean, this is close, but it's looking like Sari finally going to start to pull away with this. I mean, we have Golden Aegis in hand. We're going to have 9 mana. It looks like we actually have enough for Screeching Dragon, Protege, and Golden Aegis if we want to go that route. Now with the Fiora off the top, we could even go with the Fiora as well. But I don't know. I'm curious to see how we get to play this out.
I don't think that anything is going to be healthy enough to not die to Alpha Wildclaw.
Yeah.
Because if the Screeching Dragon's going to go in here with the Cythria and take out the Yeti, it's going to live at 1 HP. You can then barrier it up to finish off the Ruin Runner if Sari doesn't block that. And you just die to the Wildclaw unless you can top deck Concerted Strike.
Yeah, and there's no world where rallying here actually is lethal, right? I think that just doesn't happen.
That doesn't sound like lethal.
No, because you got to take into consideration that Cythria is also going to get 2 buffs. This does kind of force Sari into playing a unit here. And I think this is why Sari is considering playing the Alpha Wildclaw now. I mean, obviously you want to try to hold that and surprise your opponent after the fact, after the attack. You could just throw down the Omen Hawk.
Pretty non-committal. Also blocks the Cythria and kills it, which is really
nice.
Yeah,
I feel like Omen Hawk feels like a pretty good decision here, but no, Sari, not even going to throw that down. I think
if you threw down Omen Hawk, it just gets challenged by the Fiora, and then WhatAmI says, hey, do you want to kill my Cythria with your Ruin Runner?
Yeah, I think it still gets killed either way, but I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like there's no reason to not play the Omen Hawk. But either way, wait,
Sari is in a bit of trouble if he throws down the Wildclaw here. Are we playing respectfully of Golden Aegis? Does WhatAmI Golden Aegis into an Omen Hawk? I feel like the answer is no. And I feel like with this pass, like, is Sari gonna greed it out?
Oh, man. Yeah, because if Sari does throw down the Wildclaw here, WhatAmI can actually take it out before it's able to get through the damage.
Well, I think Ruin Runner is actually really safe here, because one of the other punishes for throwing, or rather the punish for like waiting until next turn to throw down the Alpha Wild Claw is if WhatAmI has Concerted Strike, you don't have the mana to develop another unit. So I think that throwing out something here is really good.
Ruthless Raider feels okay. I mean,
it's not
lethal
presentation. And if you are playing the Wild Claw next turn, you are just so far away from getting down this Ruin Runner that I think you should just throw it out here.
Yeah, and Ruin Runner, I mean, that Spell Shield really feels like a safer option there. But like, do you care about the Spell Shield? Like, what's really the difference between Ruin Runner and Alpha?
Concerted.
It's just the Concerted Strike that we're worried about.
Well, for this turn, it is Aegis. For next turn, it is Concerted.
And
so if WhatAmI has Aegis and Concerted, I don't think we can win.
Yeah, there we go. So there it is. So we do get the barrier on the sit-through as well. But again, if there's no top deck of that Concerted or a single combat for that matter, this Wild Claw is going to be able to close out the game, it looks like. What do we got? That's not it.
Nothing. Sorry has broken his curse of losing to people in Top Cut that he beat in Swiss, a tried and true tradition of card game players. I don't see a reason not to throw down the Alpha Wild Claw and go for it. We even picked up the Shaped Stone for just a little bit of extra security from something like that single combat. So, sorry, gonna take out your boy WhatAmI and move on to the finals.
The upset, man. Taking down WhatAmI. Sorry, gonna advance. This is... wow. Especially with the lineup, too. We have Vladimir, Braum, and Overwhelm from Sorry taking it over WhatAmI.